Good evening, flower pots. It's Wednesday night, it's 9 o'clock, and I'm back with night time with me, your Aunty Nelly. How are we all? Where are you watching me from? Give me a like, give me a love, give me a share. Let me know where you are watching me from. So if you're here in the United Kingdom, good evening. If you're elsewhere, good afternoon. And to some of you, a very good morning. So good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Good evening, Jamie Scaife in Sheffield. Hello, Aunty Nelly, says Matt Torado. Leanne Bingham is watching. Good evening, one and all. It's Wednesday night, it's 9 o'clock. I'm back with Night Time with Nelly. Hartley's here, right there behind me. Can you see him? Say hello, Hartley. Hello, flower pots. He's here to make sure that I'm giving people the right advice. We've been having a little chat. So good evening, everybody. It's good to be back. It is good to be back with Nighttime with Nelly. Katie Booger, hi from Canada. I'm thinking Canada, maybe afternoon, maybe? Or is it still the afternoon there in Canada? It's certainly Wednesday evening here. Hello, Dee McChrystal. So hello, each and every gorgeous flower pot that's joining me this evening. It is good to be back in the house with Nighttime with Nelly. So if you have a Nighttime with Nelly or a Sunday service, then please, please, please message the page. If you have a request for a review, then please message the page. That is very funny, David Pendleton, who just said, hi, little lady. I'm a lady, that's for sure, but little has never been placed into a sentence when anyone is referring to me. Good evening, John Robinson, one of my top fans. Good evening. And good evening to the gorgeous Roy Johnston, my gorgeous next door neighbour, who is my bestest friend. Hello, everybody. Patty Meyer, good evening. Good evening, everybody. So it's Nighttime with Nelly. So without further ado, with a little bit of help from Hartley Blue, there he is. Say hello, Hartley. Off we go with the very first Dear Aunty Nelly of the evening. Now don't be frightened writing into the page because all messages do come through and they're all anonymous, okay? So I will never ever be reading out your messages. So shall we start with the very first Aunty Nelly of the evening? She says, yes, let's start. Where are they? They're here. Woohoo! I never know what I'm going to read. So they're all anonymous, as I've said. Don't know what I'm going to read, and so we don't know what the reply is going to be. They're all off the cuff, but that is the fun of the show. And before we go any further, good evening, Gillian Flynn. I'd just like to say that it is over 18s only because there is a talk, strong language and talk of a sexual nature throughout. Sandra Noon's in Morecambe. Jo Drellencourt has joined. I bet she's putting a false tan and having a wine. I bet you're putting your false tan and having a wine, aren't you, Jo? Dear Aunty Nelly, my girlfriend thinks our sex life is boring. Oh, I've been absolutely fine now. I've started hiccuping. Must be growing. Dear Aunty Nelly, my girlfriend thinks our sex life is boring and I should be more spontaneous. I really don't know what to do anymore. I surprised her by being naked when she came home from work. I stood in the lounge and she came in and screamed. Then I surprised her by stopping the car in a country lane to which she fell out with me as we would be late for dinner. Then I tried to wake her in the middle of the night to which she nudged me away and said, not now, I'm knackered. Short of me surprising her in the bath, what does she actually want me to do? Fancy being completely naked and she actually walks in and screams. That's nice, isn't it? Bless you. Okay, so your girlfriend's looking for a bit of spontaneity and you're getting it a bit wrong. So sometimes we don't say what we mean, okay, and that's males and females. So what she's saying is, can we spice things up a bit? So rather than trying to surprise her in the bath or the shower, because we don't want any trips to A&E because shower sex is very slippy. I don't recommend it. Or that might have just been me. So, and rather than pulling over in a dark lane and her thinking, this is my time to be on Britain's darkest taboos, I'm going to get murdered. I think what you need to do is, when she's saying, I want it to be a bit different, it's a bit boring, is maybe not actually surprise her naked in the lounge or take her down a country road or try and, you know, jump on her in the bath or wake her in the middle of the night. I think what you need to be doing is trying something a little bit different. So, have you thought about maybe doing an evening where you introduce a little bit of massage oil? So maybe doing a massage that leads up to a little bit of sexual activity. So maybe a little bit of a massage, maybe lots of foreplay, different foreplay than what you're used to doing. And if you're not really into doing foreplay, then starting by doing a lot more foreplay. How about kissing? I don't know. I think I speak to quite a lot of couples in my one-to-one sessions now. And a lot of couples say that we only actually ever kiss, proper kiss with tongues, you know, that when we're actually in bed, and it's just now and again. So I think going back to basics, so spontaneity doesn't mean surprising her, jumping out of wardrobe. I think it actually means like putting a bit of the excitement and romance back into that part of your relationship. So I'd say a nice massage oils, lots more kissing, lots more foreplay, and sex doesn't always have to be in bed. Hartley is well cute. How old is he? He's 8. He's 8. Oh, he's down at bottom of bed now. He's a 8-year-old Bichon Frise. So yeah, sex doesn't always have to be in bed either. So maybe you could do it on the sofa, on the living room floor, not on the stairs because it hurts your back. For anybody that's wondering, I haven't had sex on stairs, but I have got a back injury. So yeah, so I think the spontaneity bit is, you know, bit of a massage, lots more kissing, lots more foreplay, and maybe start that foreplay in lounge and you might have sex on settee or on kitchen floor. Not at kitchen table because we have to dine on it. So, you know, unless you want to do some other kind of dining. So I think sometimes when we're looking for something a little bit different, she's not actually saying what she means, but I think she means that. But I'm sure my flower pots will also put their 2 pence in and let you know if they've got different suggestions or ideas. Yeah? Okay, moving on. Dear Aunty Nelly, how long after having sex do you have to wait before falling asleep? My girlfriend is taking it really personal that I fall asleep after sex. I told her that I love her and do try and kiss and cuddle her after, and she should be so happy with that. Oh, thanks. I'm satisfied and feel good after our sex. Why is she not happy? And then I fall asleep, but she wants to lay there for hours after talking. And I have to be up for work in the morning. What can I do? There is no right and wrong answer here, because how long after sex do you fall asleep? If you fall asleep after sex, you fall asleep after sex. If you want to sit there till early hours talking and cuddling and kissing and caressing, that's also fine. I think the fact is she's feeling a little bit neglected, maybe, is what she's actually saying. And once again, it's not saying what you actually mean. So sometimes this light's flashing and I'm a bit worried, so I'm going to turn it off. So I think it depends when you're having sex. I mean, I'd be a bit pissed off if it's a quickie at morning and you've fallen asleep and you're supposed to be on train to work. So I think there's no right time to fall asleep or stay awake. But I think what she's feeling is a little bit neglected, maybe. Maybe she's thinking, I'm not actually ready for that to be over. So even though you've had sex and you're happy and you've ejaculated and you're ready to go to sleep, maybe she's still in the throes of passion somehow. So ask her that question. Just say, look, I know you're getting really annoyed that I'm falling asleep after sex, but to me it's like I fall asleep because I'm really happy and satisfied and I've really enjoyed it. But are you not like enjoying it? Are you not finished? Is there something, you know, what are you actually saying to me? Are you saying, I'm not ready to go to sleep because I'm still feeling really horny, or I want lots more caressing? Is the foreplay not long enough so you're not actually meeting you know, with they only meet in Hollywood films, really. Mutual orgasms, really, are only in Hollywood films, aren't they? So I would say ask a different question. So she's asked you the question and she's told you she's a bit unhappy with it. So ask another question and say, why is that? Because I'm like, I love you and I kiss you and then I've got to go sleep. I've got work in the morning. What's missing? What am I not doing right? What would you want me to do? What else could I do to make you happy? Because I'm happy, I'm satisfied, I love you. I just want to get some shut-eye because I've got work in the morning. But I don't want this to go from being this kind of problem to a bigger problem. So how do we sort that? So communicate. And I think we need to start communicating more. A lot of my dear Aunty Nellies lately, there's a lot of communication missing. A lot of communication missing. And we are guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. We don't say what we actually mean. So we need to start just saying what we fucking mean and just get on with it. So yeah, maybe she does want to talk till the early hours. And maybe you can do that on a Friday when you haven't got work on a Saturday. But explain it to her. That's the reason you're doing it. Does she understand that's the reason and you're not actually neglecting her or turning your back on her? You just want to go to sleep. But there's no right time. There's no like, right, so I came at 10:10. I'll give her a kiss at 15:15. I'll tell her I love her at 10:20 and I should be asleep for 10:30. There's no right time to fall asleep, if that makes sense, okay? So Nelly Busfield has just said, are you not engaged now? So I had to interrupt Sunday service with an announcement because I was being asked. So let's interrupt night time with Nelly. And I'm a big one on communication, so let me communicate to my gorgeous flower pots here. No, your Aunty Nelly is no longer engaged. Your Aunty Nelly is no longer in a relationship. Unfortunately, things didn't work out as they should, and therefore we communicated about it, and it was best to part ways. And I think it's better now than down the line when we're actually married. So things haven't worked out, but do you know what? Everything's absolutely fine and it is what it is. And what's for me won't pass me. So there's your answer. No, your Aunty Nelly is not engaged. She's no longer in a relationship, but your Aunty Nelly is doing what's best for her. Okay? And sometimes you've got to put your own feelings first, your own mental health and your own physical health. And I'm absolutely fine. And that's all I have to say about it. So if that answered your question, I hope that's okay. But honestly, I'm absolutely fine. So all you need to send me is an outpouring of love as I send it all back to you. Okay? There we go. Moving on. Moving on. Dear Aunty Nelly, why is it that people like being spanked? Oh, no. What is it that people like about being spanked? My boyfriend wants to oh, fucking hell. What the hell's going on here? My boyfriend wants to spank me for fun. But I don't know how I feel about it. How would I know if I like it? Dear Aunty Nelly, what is it that people like about being spanked? My boyfriend wants to spank me for fun, but I don't know how I feel about it. How would I know if I like it? Well, one thing's for fucking sure, you'd fucking know if you didn't fucking like it. And he wouldn't either because he'd have a fucking foot in his face. He wants to spank you because he thinks it's a bit of fun, but you're not so sure. And that once again goes back to the conversation of we don't do anything in life, in the bedroom, in the workplace, wherever it may be, that we don't feel comfortable with. So if it's not consensual, it's a crime, okay? So what we need to do here is think, what exactly is he asking me? I don't know if I'm going to like being spanked. So I would say that to him and I'd say, look, I don't know what people like about being spanked. I've never been spanked. I don't know if I'm going to like it. Let's give it a go. If you feel comfortable with that. And there's lots of different things. You can start by doing a little bit of soft play. And that could be a little bit of a tickle and a little bit of a spank. But nothing like, you know, being actually fucking physically spanked. And if it's the first time, it might put you off. But if if you work on it together and you know your boundaries and you talk to each other about what's acceptable and what's not, then obviously give it a go and you might have as much fun as him. But I'd certainly say, look, I've never done it before. I don't really understand it. It's either actual, no, I know that's not for me, and tell him, or I don't know, I'm not sure. But what about if you just gently do it and we'll see where it goes from there and try it that way. But I don't know what people like about being spanked. I'll be honest with you. I've been spanked. It's not for me. If they fucking did it again, I'd fucking twat the bastard. Simple as that. But everybody's different. If I was with somebody and they said, I really, really, really need to spank you, I'd say, you really, really, really need to put your fucking pants on and fuck off through that fucking door. Everybody's different. You know, everybody has different fetishes, different fantasies, different ways that, you know, that gets them off. Everything's different. But, you know, certainly if you want to do it, you want to have a go, it's a bit exciting, but you're not sure, then start off nice and gentle. Nice and gentle, rather than fucking cracking you. There's no fun in that. There's no fun in that. So when you've asked what is it that people like about being spanked, the answer is no fucking idea, flower. Okie dokie, dear Aunty Nelly. What if, right, I had a threesome with my wife and my best mate, and we both come inside her, and then she does get pregnant? Haha, jokes. Whose baby would it be? I know I said jokes, but this is actually my real life. Do I tell my wife it could be my mate's or could it be mine? I just don't know why she's acting like it's all mine. So sometimes messages will come through to your Aunty Nelly and they're not always that clear. But I think what this guy's saying is, I've had a threesome with my best mate and my wife. My wife's pregnant and I'm thinking back to threesome and I'm thinking it might fucking be his fucking baby instead of mine. But she's acting like she's all pregnant and fucking happy and telling fucking neighbours and family and anyone who listen and pretending it's my baby. So we both come inside her at the same time. So whose fucking baby is it? Well, the only way to find that out is, I think maybe you've wrote into the wrong channel and maybe you wanted to write into Chat Magazine where they have their own column on quizzes. Because this is a quiz, this. Whose baby is it? The only way you'd ever sort out the paternity test would be a DNA test. Now, Jeremy Kyl's gone off air, unfortunately, so you're not able to go and air your laundry on there. So I would say to your wife, look, I need to go back to that night where me and my best mate fucked you. I'm a bit worried it could be his. And she might say, no, flower, I know my cycle. I know when I'm most ready to, you know, my ovulation's high, whatever, it's definitely yours. If you're still not feeling like it is definitely your baby, you need a DNA test. And you've every reason to ask for a DNA test simply because legally you're both saying, yeah, we did have this threesome, okay? And then you apply for a DNA test and find out if the little baby's yours or not. But I'd certainly be telling your best mate as well that he may be in the mix. He may be, that spunk that's in there mixed up, is might have got in instead of yours. Could be either of yours, but you'll never know without a DNA test. And DNA test now is something that can be done with just cheek spit and that. So, yeah, find out with a DNA test. So, I don't know if that's a fake problem or not, but these things do happen. I know a girl who had sex with 2 guys within 24 hours. And then she got pregnant. And she had to have a DNA test because she'd no idea. She'd no idea whose baby it were. So, there you go. So, the only way you can find out is by a DNA test. You know, you can't even say you've got blonde hair, he's got black hair, and it comes out with black hair, it might be his, because it's nothing to do. A DNA test will surely tell you. And she's acting like it's all mine. Oh, God, tell her that you're not sure. And you do need to know if it's your child or not, because you're not going to bond with the child if you're going to think that it might not be yours. And if it is your mate's child, you need to sort of put those things in place, because otherwise it'll just cause bitterness and resentment. So if this was a real problem, which I doubt it is, but then again it could be, the world we live in, it could be, that's what you need to do. Dear Aunty Nelly, I thought I had found the one. I really did. We have been together for just over 6 months and everything has been wonderful, like a fairy tale. Then boom, boom, there it is. I knew it was too good to be true. Lately, when we have been in bed, he's been asking me to tell him about other blokes I've had sex with and to tell him how big their cocks are and what they felt like inside me. Christ on a bike. Christ, is there any sex going on here or is it just fucking dialogue? I kind of went along with it at first, but now it's got to where he texts me when we are out and says, look at that bloke, do you want to sit on his cock while I'm sat next to him? That's weird, right? Yeah, it's a bit weird. Or is it not weird? No, it's a bit weird. Does this kind of shit happen? Has this ever happened to me? I mean, worse things could be happening, so I don't know what to do because apart from that, our relationship is perfect. Okay, so you've been with this guy 6 months, everything's lovely, and then all of a sudden you're in bed and he starts saying, do you know Bob from Butcher's? Do you want to sit on his cock? Tell me about the cocks you've fucked. And I think sex talk, dirty talk, bedroom talk, all kinds of things goes in the bedroom as long as it doesn't involve animals and kids, you're safe. You know, and as long as it makes you feel comfortable. If somebody's saying, I want to fuck you, you fucking fuck, and you're thinking, I don't like that, then it's not acceptable. So once again, you know, you went along with it at first. So he probably feels it's absolutely fine to talk like that because you've not really told him that you don't like it, that it makes you feel uncomfortable. He's got this sort of fascination. It turns him on to maybe think of you with other men. And he wants to think about how sexually satisfied you were with other men. You know, and that's the conversation I'd be having with him. Look, is just bedroom talk? Is it just sex talk? Are you actually trying to ask me how many men I've actually fucked? Are you actually trying to get me to say I've never had a cock as big as yours? Why are you texting me when we're out and asking me if that guy at the bar, you know, do I fancy him and do I want to sit on his cock? It's not making me feel comfortable. So it's only 6 months in. Only 6 months in. And we're still getting to know each other in the bedroom and as people. I mean, where do we go from here? Do we go from, you know, we're having all this bedroom talk and then here's my mate, he's got a big cock, I want you to fuck him in front of me. Where do we go from here? We need to be having this conversation. Do I think it's weird? I don't think bedroom talk's weird because we can say all kinds of weird and wonderful things in the bedroom and it stays in the bedroom and the minute you've come and it's gone and it's not discussed again. You know, but if it's something that's making you feel uncomfortable and then questioning what your relationship sexual is like, and then it's happening outside of the bedroom, then certainly I would be thinking that's weird, and I'd certainly be having, once again, open communication with your partner and explaining to them that, you know, it's not making you feel good, it's not comfortable, and you're questioning things, but apart from that, everything else is fine, so where do we go from here? The sooner you do it, the better. And the next time you're in bed and he says something and you don't appreciate it, makes you feel funny, don't go along with it. It's okay to stop them in the middle. It's absolutely your right, men and ladies. It's absolutely fine to stop people in the middle. I stopped lots of people in the middle, not because they said I didn't find, you know, comfortable, just because they were fucking shit shag. And I thought, I've got fucking EastEnders down there on Series Link. He can fuck off home and I'm going watching telly. You know, so it's absolutely fine to stop people in the middle and say, whoa, don't like that, not comfortable, stop. 6 months in, we're still learning about each other, aren't we? We're still learning about what we like, what we don't like, how it works, how it doesn't work, what this person does on a daily basis, what do they do at weekends, you know, do they brush their teeth at night or do they get in bed without it, do they brush them in the morning? There's lots of things that we have to find out about each other, and you can live with somebody for the rest of your life and never know them. But 6 months in, I think he's testing the waters, certainly, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's sort of gearing himself up to maybe ask to be one of those guys that sits in the corner of the bedroom and watches you fuck somebody. I could have just thrown that in and he may never want to ask that, but, you know, we could be going down that road, so I'd be aware of that. A little red flag there that you might, you know, the red flag's up now, so keep your eye on it. Okay. Okie dokie, dear Aunty Nelly. My husband is getting so fat that having sex is becoming almost impossible. Seriously though, Aunty Nelly, his stomach gets in the way. I can't even see his dick anymore, and I doubt he can. What am I supposed to do? Have you thought about reverse cowgirl? Reverse cowgirl, I always find, is quite a good position if the gentleman has quite a rather large pouch. You know, rather than leaving the 12 cans at the bar or in the fridge, he's actually brought them with him. Beer bellies and stuff. So I always find that, you know, people's weight should never, ever stop them being intimate or physical with a partner. It's just about sort of finding different positions. So I always think that I think reverse cowgirl would work, which would be you lowering yourself onto his cock by pushing his stomach back, or he could even pull his tummy back, and then you could lower yourself onto his cock and ride him that way. But also a bigger problem here is why is he putting all this weight on? What's going on? Is he unhappy? You know, is he overeating? Is he eating his feelings? Has he just decided to let himself go? You love this man, you still want to have a physical relationship with him. So I think it's only fair that you actually sit down with him and ask him what's going on and tell him that you're concerned about his health. Don't, for God's sake, say I can't even see your dick anymore, because I think sometimes, especially when we're speaking to certain men, if they are men that can be quite sensitive and you can knock their ego, the way that you come across. So I wouldn't go with the sledgehammer approach here, certainly not. But I would certainly go with the reverse cowgirl. And then after, while you're laid in bed and you haven't fallen asleep unlike someone else tonight, you know, have the conversation and say, look, you know, I absolutely love you no matter what. I love you. If you were 130 stone, I'd love you. I'm just a bit concerned about your health. And have that conversation. So yeah, so the reverse cowgirl. I'm trying to think of other positions. I think that one's probably the best. Okay? That one's probably the best. And have that conversation. I've got central heating on, and I've not had central heating on since fucking 2003, I think. And I'm sweating. Fucking sat here sweating. I tell you, I'm sat in a fucking ball of sweat. Oh, I don't know why I put central heating on. I don't know what I thought I were doing. Anyway, here we go. Dear Aunty Nelly. Drinking lots of water as well because I'm back on it. Back at that gym at morning. Dear Aunty Nelly, is it normal that I'm straight? Right? Oh, but when it comes to porn, I only get turned on by girl on girl action. Because I have recently been found out by my boyfriend because he was doing something on my computer and he saw my history. And now he thinks I'm a lesbian, but I'm not. But I'm not. And now he thinks he's not enough for me. And he is making me question myself now. Whereas before, it wasn't even a thing. Please help. Your question is it normal that I'm straight and when it comes to porn, I only get turned on by girl on girl? Is it normal? Abso-fucking-lutely. Of course it's normal. Everybody is entitled to fantasise about absolutely anything. That is a very private thing, I think. Your fantasies, because it's in your mind, is a very private thing. Whether you choose to share that with people or not is entirely up to you. It's your prerogative. But I certainly don't think it abnormal. I don't think it's abnormal for, let's say, a straight lady to fantasise about a she-male. Are they even called she-males? I don't know what they're fucking called. I'm sorry if I've offended anybody there, but I'm just trying to think of you're a straight lady, but you may get turned on by gay porn. You know, it's absolutely fine. He's been doing something on your computer. He's seen you hit porn history, and now he's feeling insecure in himself. That's not your problem. You can only have the conversation and say, listen, I love you. I'm with you. I am not a lesbian. I am not uncomfortable about my sexuality. What I choose to do in my spare time, when you're not around, is my prerogative. And I'm sorry you've seen that, but let's talk about it now. I get turned on by girl and girl action. And what? Doesn't mean to say I want to go and lick a fucking minge. Do you know what I mean? Don't mean to say that you want to all of a sudden have a same-sex marriage. It's just what does it for you. But that doesn't mean to say that he doesn't do it for you. Okay? So I would certainly have the conversation. Don't question yourself. What we do when we watch porn, and once we've come and we erase our... I think the big lesson here is always erase your search history. Always delete your search history. Always. Because you just never know, do you? But yeah, it's absolutely fine to think that if somebody's watching gay porn, they may be gay. I understand where that thinking's come from. But you need to have that communication. You really do. You need to tell him that, listen, I like girl and girl action when I'm fucking wanking, and so what? It doesn't mean to say that I don't love you or I'm a lesbian. It's none of your business. It's none of his fucking business. As long as there's no kids on there and no animals, you fucking crack on, Flower. You crack on, cracking one out to two girls. Why not? That's what does it for you. Is it normal is the question. Abso-fucking-lutely. You crack on. Dear Aunty Nelly, my partner watches porn all day at home. Does it not work? Then expects me to act out his fantasies. I'm really sick of coming home to be confronted by a pumped up guy with a glint in his eye and a pair of fluffy or furry. Sometimes I get messages as well and they're not spelt very good. I come home, I'm sick of coming home to a pumped up guy with a glint in his eye and a pair of furry handcuffs or a leather whip or a nurse costume. Oh! He sets all this to indulge in some kinky role play. We've had sex on stairs. Oh, don't have sex on stairs. You'll get a back injury. I've told you about that. In garden shed, under the shower. We've tried it with me on the washing machine. And him in my clothes, wearing lipstick and lingerie. I'm really tired being his sexual plaything. I just need normal and tenderness. What can I do? So at the beginning of Dear Aunty Nelly, we had somebody who weren't being spontaneous and he's took it to a whole new fucking level. Why is he watching porn all day? Has he not got a job? He needs to get a job, doesn't he? He needs to get another fucking hobby. Sounds like he's fucking sex obsessed. Is he sex obsessed? Does he need to see a GP? Is he a sex addict? Does he think that that's the only way to have sex? I mean, has he ever sat on settee next to you and then just kissed you and then fingered you? Do you know what I mean? And then just gone to bed nice? What is it? Is he watching porn and thinks that's what relationships and sex is like? Because believe me, it fucking isn't. Fuck me. I mean, I can watch porn and then forget that I'm actually watching porn for the reason I've put the porn on and start looking at vaginas and then sit there and think I need to book an appointment because my vagina does not look like any of their vaginas. So he's watching porn, and the fact that he's got himself all day watching porn, he's now living in the land of porn and he thinks he needs to be a porn star. So once again, what we need to do is, first of all, get his CV tidied up and sent off and get him a job. Number 2, communicate with the guy and just tell him and say, listen, Flower, you're living in fucking porn land. I come home from work and all I really want is a shower, a bit of tea and to watch EastEnders. I don't want to be swinging from fucking chandeliers while you're fisting me fucking ass. Do you know what I mean? It's boring. A lot of people on here saying, fucking hell, I wish. But it's boring for you. It's not. You want that sort of romancing and you want the sort of like the monotony of it, the kissing, touches your tits, gives you a bit of a finger, feeds the donkey, then fucks you. You know, that's what you want. You don't want all the furry handcuffs and the nurse's uniform. Just tell him. Just tell him that it's too much. It's fucking too much. And why is he watching porn all day? He needs to get a fucking job and get his mind off it. And even though he's living in porn land and thinks he's a fucking porn star, you're not. And you just want nice, normal sexual relationship. And have the conversation and say, seriously, I do actually think you might have a problem. And if you have, that's fine, I'll support you. But we might need to see a GP here because this is something fucking else. Yeah, I mean, have we ever really, in real life, really done it like they do on porn? The actual porn, not just like normal, like mature or amateur or Bob fucks Daisy or whatever. Have we ever actually done what they do on porn? No, because they do that just for porn. Because life's not like porn, is it? I'm fucking glad with so much shit I fucking watched. Jesus Christ almighty. Whew. And some of fucking positions they get in. You've got to be a fucking contortionist, let me tell you. Dear Aunty Nelly, girlfriend is insisting on having a threesome with a bisexual friend of hers. Oh. But I'm feeling a little nervous about the whole idea. I'm pretty satisfied with our sex life, and I'm worried that this could somehow scar our relationship or change how she feels about me. But on the other hand, I want to make my girlfriend happy. And hey, it could be fun. How should we approach this? We should never, ever, ever, ever do anything in the bedroom that would make the other person happy. Because once again, we're not putting ourselves first, and we've got to both be happy. Because if we're not, then it's not consensual. Okay, number one. Number two, how do you approach it? If you're really, really, really comfortable in your relationship and there's 100% trust and you know each other inside out, then no other person can come in between that, because it's just sex. Sex. It's not a loving relationship. There's no tenderness. There's no caressing. There's no text in the morning. There's no care for that person. There's no love towards that person. It is just an act of sex. The fact that that person is a friend and you could bump into them, they could come round for dinner, they could be at your wedding or your christening or whatever, could make things a little bit tricky. That awkward moment where you see somebody you fucked and you're having to dodge it down Tesco aisle. I mean, that's never happened to me, but I know someone who it has happened to. It's happened to me fucking loads. Absolutely loads is that. Anyway, so if you're not comfortable in your relationship, you've not been together that long and you're not sure about this person, then no, I wouldn't approach it, because it's not going to scar your relationship. You're taking the trust away straight away, and it's going to knock your confidence in your esteem, number one. Number two, how do you approach it? You approach it with, we are having this person just for sex, so maybe do it with a stranger, because a friend, I think it could just get a little bit dicey. Does it actually affect your relationship? I know some people who swing and they love it and they've been together forever and it's fine and it's their bag and you crack on if you're both happy. Some people, they start getting jealous and thinking he's playing with her tits longer than he's played with my tits. So does that mean that her tits are better than my tits? And then they think about tits and then they start making appointments at doctors and they want to get breast augmentation because then he might play with my tits longer than he's played with her tits. You've got to think about your relationship and how comfortable you are in your relationship and how much you trust each other. And I think if you yourself a little bit self-critical of yourself and you've got a little bit of self-doubt, I don't think having a threesome is the way forward. I hope I've answered that correctly, because I don't know if I've ever had a question like that, to be honest. And I mean, I'm not into threesomes. I believe. So that's not saying if you don't believe, then you're wrong, I'm right, vice versa. But I don't know. I think it's a difficult one because it wouldn't be for me. Okay, it just wouldn't be for me. And plus as well, I mean, it is about, have you spent enough time touching her tits for 5 minutes? Do you have to touch hers for 5 minutes? Or, do you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, I don't know. They just all get a bit, I can't be arsed with shit like that, me. It's not for me. Anyway, and Kelly has just made a very good point. If you're questioning it, then it's no. Then it's a no. Absolutely. Very good, Kelly. But it's very hot in here. It's about fucking 100 degrees. Yeah. No. Well done, Kelly. Absolutely. Whenever we question anything, that's usually our gut raising a question because our mind's not yet quite connected. So red flag. It's a red flag when we start questioning things, and take a step back and maybe it's not for you. Dear Aunty Nelly, I have been with my boyfriend and I have been dating. No, my boyfriend and I have been dating for 3 years. He regularly has bouts of depression. Oh, sweetheart. And he has suffered depression since childhood. Although initially we had a fulfilling sex life, for the last 2 years he has had little or no interest in sex. He's in his 40s and has had a lot of relationships, and I'm in my 30s. We used to have a regular sex life, and I need and want a regular sex life. We've talked about it and he knows how I feel, but he dismisses it. He blames his disinterest and his lack of interest on depression. I crave for us to have sex, but I'm lucky if we have sex once every couple of months. But he does masturbate regularly. Please help. Think depression, anxiety, lost your job, no money in bank. You know, it can affect your mental health, and with that, it affects your physical health, and the man is struggling to maybe maintain an erection. Maybe he can't get an erection. Maybe he's just not feeling very sexy. Maybe he's on depression tablets, some sort of antidepressants that are affecting his libido. There's 100 million things going on here. So rather than writing into me, ask him. You told him that, you know, we're not having much sex, and he said, I know it's because I'm depressed. And then you've said, well, I really need to be with somebody who wants to have sex. Well, sorry, I can't help you there, Flower. Or I'll try, or I'll go to the doctors, or maybe he's not on any sort of kind of medication. So there's a bigger picture. Maybe he's depressed because of things that have happened in his past or things that are happening now. So we need to sort of strip this back to basics, and it's not all about you getting a fucking happy ending once a week, is it? It's about this man who's depressed, and if you have been with him 3 years, surely you love him and you want to help him. So, you know, depression affects people in all different ways, but I certainly know that it does affect a man's libido, as it does a lady's libido. But not only the depression, maybe he's on medication and it's affecting his libido. So maybe, yeah, he does have a wank now and again. There's no fucking harm in that. Maybe he has a wank now and again, and then that's okay, and he's emptied his sack, but maybe he can't actually muster up actually having sex with you because he thinks, what if I lose my erection? What if I can't get an erection? What if I can't come? I'm going to be a big fucking disappointment. So rather than taking it personally and just thinking about what you want, which is very important in a relationship, we do need to think about what we want, and we do need to get our needs met. I'm not saying you don't, but I think it's about a little trip to the doctor's here, a little trip to kitchen table, #kitchen table, having a really, really good chat with him, and certainly seeing a GP, because even if he is on medication and he has been to see the doctor, whatever's going on isn't working, so he may need a second opinion. So anything like that, when your sex life is affected by your partner, libido, don't take it personally. I think what we can learn from tonight is don't always take it as it's you. He doesn't like the fact that I've had my hair cut. He doesn't like the fact that I've put 2 stone on. He doesn't like the fact that, you know, I'm no longer wearing sexy underwear, or I can't surprise him or whatever. You know, look at the bigger picture. Please step outside the box. I know it's difficult, but please look at the bigger picture as to why, you know, there's no hearts and flowers, and why we're not having happy endings every night, because lots of things happen in life. Especially now, especially with the pandemic at the moment, people are struggling left, right and centre. So get that person that help, offer that support, offer that care. And rather than wanting to be a lover to him right now, I think what you need to be is a friend. And if you can help. Once you've done that, you've been the GP, you've got the medication, you've got the therapy, you've ticked all the boxes. If there's still no love in your love life, as in there's no sex in your sex life, and that's something you really crave and need, then I think you need to evaluate your relationship, because you may be with the wrong person, because he won't be able to give you what you need, and if he can't give you what you need, there'll be plenty out there who will, and do you really want to be a cheating cunt? So that's what I would say to that. And that was tonight's last Dear Aunty Nelly of the evening. I hope you've enjoyed the comeback as much as I have, because it's been really, really nice to be back with you. So there'll be lots more reviews coming, lots more Sunday services, and certainly lots more nighttime with Nellies. So you keep writing into the page and keep me busy, because while you're keeping me busy, you're keeping me out of trouble. But you certainly don't keep out of trouble, otherwise there'll be no nighttime with Nellies. And on that note, I'm going to wish you all a very good night. So give me a like, give me a love, give me a share, and I'll see you all very soon. Good night, flower pots, and keep misbehaving.